What is good, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video, and in this one I want to break down what's going on with Tesla, SPY, Nvidia, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers, and break down what's happening to the overall market thus far. While we have a lot of data coming out at 10 a.m. today that might cause some high volatility in the markets, and what I think is going to pan out for all these different charts. But before I break things down, all this information, before I get into any more details, let me just mention a couple of things. Firstly, I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Weeble link, which is down below and in the description. This offers in just a couple of hours from now. Today is the last day for you to sign up. If you deposit $500, you're guaranteed 20 free stocks. Put in $25,000 or more, and you're guaranteed 75 free stocks. Once again, guys, this is the last day I'm going to promote this, so check it out before they run out. Anyways, now let's break down what's happening to Tesla. Again, Tesla got this nice triple top formation, and generally this does tend to lead to bearish outcomes, but there's no confirmation of Tesla breaking down yet or even breaking out. If you want to be bullish, we got to see this thing break 205. If you want to be bearish, you want to see this thing lose all the way down to 198. If we lose support, we could turn back down. There's a lot of these imbalances, but I'll break down more details about this in just a couple of minutes. I first want to talk about some news and data because it's going to be very important for SPY and the markets. So today at 9:45 a.m., we have the S&P 500 Global Manufacturing PMI report coming out. That's going to be a little important for manufacturing numbers. And then we also have even more data starting at 10 o'clock a.m., 30 minutes after the market opens, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we have more manufacturing numbers, and then we also have the Michigan Consumer Sentiment Report coming out, construction spending, and even more data from Michigan. So we have the 5-year inflationary expectations for this year, and a bunch of things coming out. This is very important because this data is going to give us a good gauge of how manufacturing is looking. And I think that specifically the ISM manufacturing new orders and the manufacturing prices are very important. That's very important for forecasts and future data. So watch for that very, very carefully. So all this data might cause a big move. I think the market's going to make a big move either approaching the data or after the data comes out. So watch around this time between 9:45 a.m. and 10 a.m. for some high volatility, and we'll see if this causes the market to pump or not. I'll talk about what I think is going to happen. So after that, don't forget that at 10:15 a.m. we have Logan, Waller, and Bostic giving speeches. Not to mention Daly is giving a speech at 1:30. So a bunch of Fed speakers are going to be speaking today after that, and that's going to conclude the day and the entire trading week. So big data for the first 30 minutes and then a bunch of Fed speakers after that. Now, for today, we have Plug and Fubo TV. They just announced their earnings. Fubo TV did very, very well, exceeding Q4 guidance. They reached about 1.6 million subscribers in North America. They grew 29% year over year. They also expanded 15% to an all-time high. And we also saw, and that's for their ARPU, by the way, not them. Their net loss, excuse me, the net loss improved by $25 million year over year. And we saw some good earnings with increased free cash flow. So they beat on guidance, good guidance overall. They beat on earnings, good improvement in their revenue, and they're continuing to see some nice growth. This is actually pretty good, and this is better than what a lot of these investors were expecting. That's why Fubo TV is exploding right now. But there was also uncertainty about Plug Power, despite the fact that they announced their earnings. They didn't do as well. They beat on revenue, but their overall EPS was a miss. And that's not looking as great for them for now. So looking at the data down here, you could see their revenue showed a 39% increase, but overall, it's worth noting that for the past year, the revenue is actually still down despite being decent for the quarter. EPS was down 51%, not the best, and overall, for their overall projections, not the strongest as well. For SPY, I just want to call out that for March 1st, we're expecting something very, very interesting. We have currently about 900,000 puts expiring. It might increase to 1 million. And we also have about 267,000 calls expiring. There's a 3.35 put to call ratio. This is still favoring the bulls in a way, because if you think about it, everyone is betting the market's going to crash today. Everyone's betting the market's going to sink. There's a 3.35 put to call ratio. Market makers have an incentive to hold the market up. Now, the Nasdaq Composite notched a new record, which is good news for them. The New York Community Bank Corp on Thursday said it identified material weakness in the company's internal controls. There's some news about Elon Musk. I'll talk more about this in more detail later on. We also have some news coming out that Congress passed a short-term funding bill, which is good news. And then there's also new movies coming out, which I'll talk more about some other time. But that's it for the news. Tesla also stands to earn billions of dollars by opening US charging stations to drivers of Ford. Still making a lot of headlines. This just came out today, so it's continuing to show lots of strength, and that's good news for Tesla. So, what's going on with the share prices? Without further ado, let me talk about them. So, I just want to mention that Tesla is relatively weak right now. It's a little red right now, while SPY is green. We're going to be watching to see if Tesla could hold up for the time being. We're kind of stuck in a range for the pre-market, so make sure you guys watch this 202.5 area as resistance and 200 as support. It's been stuck for the pre-market, and let's see what Tesla ends up doing. We're still range bound for the whole thing. To be bullish, we have to break 205. To be bearish, you want to see it lose 197.5. If we lose 197.5, there's a risk of 195 and then 192, which is where we have these imbalances here. And then we also have a triple top formation. These generally are a little bit more bearish. So we'll see if Tesla gets a rug pull or not by next week. Be very careful with Tesla, guys. But it's also possible that this is a trap. For us to invalidate this triple top, we have to break 205 and start squeezing, break past like 210 to 212. So we'll see what Tesla does. I'm going to be very patient for now. Expect some high volatility as the data starts to come out. For SPY, it's attempting to push. I think the most likely possibility is SPY is going to push to about 510. Then we'll see if it rejects or not. It might get an initial rejection, but then eventually try to break out. If we break 510, we're going to be pushing up to about 512. But for now, watch something like this and see if we could break 510. If we get that break, a much bigger move to 512 is coming. If we fail, watch 508.5 as support, then 507.5. But in my opinion, there's a very, very good chance this will push to 510, reject just a little bit, and then we'll see if it breaks past the 510 area or not. It could break this and start pushing to 512, so we'll just have to wait and see. But I think 510 is coming, so look for a push up there. We'll see if you reject or not. If we get a break later on during the day, we're going to be looking for a much bigger push. All right, we could get an initial rejection, by the way, at 510, but then later on we could break it. So I just want to call that out. We'll see how it reacts to 510. Expect that for spine. We'll see how it goes. I think that's the most likely possibility. For the QQQ, this thing has potential to break 440 and eventually reach 441. If that breaks, 442 is coming. For support, watch 438 as critical support, followed by 436. This could come down a bit, then start pushing for 441, and we'll see if this breaks or not. If we get an initial rejection, could come back down, trade sideways for some time, then eventually break out to 442. If we break it in, from the beginning, a new all-time high is coming, 442 plus is coming, new territories are pending. There is hope for the QQQ to break out more because of Nvidia. Nvidia is showing some strength getting this breakout. We called this out in my previous video. And in my video yesterday, I said expect 800 plus on Nvidia. We're already at 800.82, exactly as predicted. So we have this bullish wedge forming. If we continue to break out, watch 807 and then 812. If we reject off this, we could come down to about 795 and 790 flat. Overall, it's on a bullish break, so we'll see if we can break and hold 800. If we hold above this, we could push even higher, so watch down Nvidia. So far, this is more positive for the QQQ in the markets. But Apple is a little bit weak right now. It's barely at 190, 197.5. Watch 180 as resistance, and we'll see if we break this to hit 181.36. Watch support 178. We'll see how well this holds. Apple's looking relatively weak. Could we push a little bit to fill our gap? It is still possible to defend it and bring it back to the 180 area. But I expect a lot of sideways price action. Apple is looking kind of weak. Not the strongest, but we'll see if we can try to see some defense at 180 if they try to bring it back up there. But like I said before, Apple is a little bit weak. Tesla looks kind of indecisive as it's range bound right now. SPY, the QQQ, and Nvidia are looking relatively strong, so we'll see how it goes. But be very, very careful on Tesla and watch and see what happens with this triple top. We also have a possible head here, a head and shoulders, with the left shoulder here, the head, and maybe a right shoulder. Not a guarantee, but we'll see if Tesla gets a break or not. Generally, this pattern is a bit more bearish, so just be very careful. So that being said, thank you all so much for listening. We'll see what happens with these different charts. Super micro, by the way, this is a little bit bullish looking. Watch support at 854. Well, there's let me see, 868, 854, and 838. And if we bounce off this, one of these levels, we could be pushing for 900. If we lose 840, we're going to turn a little bit more bearish. As of right now, there's potential. IWM could be hitting that 205 target again. It did come down exactly as we predicted, 202. Now it's trying to bounce off this. So see if we break 205 and 206. Watch for that carefully. And then I'm also going to call out one more. We had, let me double check this. Microsoft It's a little bit down right now. It could test 409 or so, but the overall trend is still bullish, so it might drop a little bit right now. But don't forget, guys, watch it carefully because there's a possible inverse head and shoulders forming on it. It might drop a little bit, then rebound and start pushing for that 420 target. So this could be a very good entry. There's a nice inverse head and shoulders setup. As long as we hold above like 408, I could see this pan out. So watch for that, and we'll see how it goes. Anyways, that's it for this one. Enjoy your day, guys. Get ready for market open. It's going to open in about 8 minutes from the time I'm recording this. Do what you have to do. Tesla in the market to the moon. The long term is very bright. And peace out.